all the issues, physical issues, social issues, Lord God, dealing with the water for the communities. I pray, God, they have all the information necessary, facts and figures, so they can make concise decision based upon facts and what's best for the communities. I pray that each person tonight on the board have one purpose, one heart, and one mind. That is, do the best they can to supply the water most effective, most efficient manner, and with no selfish agendas. So, Lord, let this meeting be helpful, be meaningful, Lord, and be a tremendous blessing to all those that hear it. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. All right. Um, all right. Roll call of the board members. Secretary Ashe.
Direct
Okay.
absent.
Absent.
Director Greg Young.
Here.
Oh, hold on. General Manager, was there any, or Madam Clerk, was there any communication?
No.
Okay.
none.
All right. I'm sorry to.
You're fine.
Okay.
Director Greg Young.
Here.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor.
Present.
And President Channing Hawkins.
Present. Okay. Great. Thank you. All right. Public participation. Secretary Ashe, have you received any correspondence?
No.
Oh, sorry. Adopt the agenda. I'm just ready to go today.
I'll make the.
Do we want to make the change before we adopt the agenda?
Yes, thanks, legal counsel. I do have one amendment to the agenda, not to the agenda, but the agenda packet. Item number three for the holiday schedule. There's an amended schedule that I handed out to each individual. We did not include Saturday, December 31st, 2022 on the calendar, so I wanted to request an amendment to include that date.
Okay.
And that's the only change to the document that's in the packet, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
All
with
right.
the change.
I'll second it.
Okay, great. It's been moved and properly seconded. Secretary Ashe, call for the vote.
Director Greg Young.
Yes.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor.
Yes.
And President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Public participation. Secretary Ashe.
No, I have not received any emails or requests.
Okay, anybody on the line want to make a public comment? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Public participation is now closed. All right, moving on to public hearing. All right, got my script together this time. All right, this is the time and place to set for a duly noticed public hearing regarding the redistricting of the board members. I would like to welcome everyone and declare this public hearing open. Ms. Ashe, has notice of this hearing been given as required by law?
Yes, notice of this hearing has been posted at the district headquarters, published in the Inland Empire newspaper and El Chicano newspaper in accordance with the California law.
Mr. Mambahal, would you describe the events leading up to this hearing and the purpose of this hearing?
This redistricting process is required by law.
Thank you. The board hereby receives the redistricting plan, and receipt is entered into the record of this public hearing. At this time, are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? If so, now's the time to please address the board. State your name and address for the record and present your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Going once. Going twice. Okay, nope, sorry. Anyone who would like to speak in favor? Anyone who would like to speak against? Going once, going twice, 3 times. I see no further speakers. I hereby declare the public hearing closed. All right, moving on to the consent calendar.
Mr. President, I'll move the consent calendars items 1, 2, and 3 with the amended document the general manager spoke to earlier.
Okay,
I'll second it.
All right, seeing no questions, Secretary Ashe, call for the vote.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay, moving on to business matters. Next up, item number 4, adopt the resolution number 2021-29, 2021 redistricting. Okay. Mr. Lucent, or, yes.
Thank you, Board President, board members, executive of the West Valley Water District. It's been, I think, our pleasure on the Lucian Partners team to walk you through this process, guide you through this process. We're coming up on the final hearing. Before I get into the document on the screen, I think I just want to sort of quickly summarize that we've taken a number of steps to maximize public engagement, public participation, to invite public input and to dialogue about prospective lines very candidly and openly in hopes of satisfying all of the statutory and constitutional requirements related to this process. And that has included public hearings. It's included making available an online redistricting tool for the public, which we've had up for some time, and then having a number of community meetings that have been spread across the various divisions within this district. It's also included public notices that your public affairs team has done an exceptional job in undertaking and fulfilling. And now we've sort of reached this point where we have a final set of maps for the board's consideration. Before we get to the maps, we just wanted to highlight the citizen voting age population numbers. And I'm going to slide over here a little bit because my eyes aren't all that well or that good. And so we've drawn from the...
Mr. Lucian, can I interrupt for one quick second? I just wanted to add to your commentary that the redistricting process was also noticed in the local newspapers. I think we did mention that.
Yes, sir.
And there will be a copy of it available in the records as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So we did a demographic analysis of a couple of plans pursuant to the last meeting that we had. I may have spoken in error in a transmission on an email concerning the maps. I think I may have referenced that Plan D was the map that was presented last week. That is incorrect. Plan E was the map that was presented last week. Plan D was an attempt to reconcile some of the board's various comments in relation to one of the divisions going north past one of the major freeways and thoroughfares. And so I'm going to speak to Plan E first and then Plan D, which was the alternative to Plan D, and then a couple of variations that are very, very similar to Plan E, which do not impact or change in any way the CVAP numbers that you see right here in front of you. And so as we were drawing these maps, we did not take race into account, but once we drew the maps fulfilling all of the stated goals and objectives that are required of us by law, we then took a count in a population to ensure that we would not run in violation of any federal or state Voting Rights Act. We're confident that we do not. With this first map, which my clicker, okay, thank you, sir. So with this first map, this was the map that was presented last week that seemed to have a high degree of interest by a majority of the directors and the public at large. If we can skip to the next map. In attempting to try and to fulfill the goals that were stated in the last meeting with respect to the contiguity of District 5. What we attempted to do is keep District 5 from going above the 10 freeway. We tried a number of different scenarios, many of which just did not work as a matter of fact without running us into possibly infringing on some of the statutory and constitutional goals that we have in mind as far as compliance is concerned. So this is what we came up with as an alternative to Plan E. After further conversation, it came to our attention that if we can go back to the first map, sir. It came to our attention that, Division 5 in this version may not be as, I think, seamless and contiguous as it could be. What we did is we referenced your existing map that you all are governed by right now, and we said, you know what? When you look at the street Agua Mansa Road, and when you look at the way in which Division 4 cuts across a little bit to the west on the southern area, we said, you know what? There's no population there, but it was raised by a board member that because there's no population, it may make some sense to conform it to the way in which the district is already drawn as of right now. And so in attempting to do that, we made two slight variations. If you can put me forward 2 slides, sir. Okay. And the 2 variations we made were simply to keep District 4 as it in the southern part of the district. We kept that, I believe that's Riverside Avenue. My eyes are failing me.
Yes.
We kept Riverside Avenue as the westernmost boundary in the Southern Division. And if we can go forward one more time, sir. And then here in the southern portion near Agua Mansa Road, we did the same thing, but we left the strip in the northern part of the Southern Division with Division 4 going a little bit more west. Either way, those numbers that were provided to you earlier under Plan E remain the same with these 2 maps, E-2 and then E-2-2. And so those are the options that we have before the board this evening, and I'll leave it at that unless there's any further questions by any board members.
Can we go back one slide to E-2?
So it just makes it Riverside Avenue the whole way down,
Yeah.
which is what we have now
Okay.
between you and I,
Okay.
which is just easier, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, is that the end of your presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. If we could pull back up, just stand at the ready in case we have some questions. Dr. Taylor, if you could, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
I am in consensus with Greg regarding Plan E-2.
Two, yeah.
I think that's sufficient for our purposes. Keeping the line clear at Riverside Avenue. So,
Easy to remember.
okay. So with that and everything being reviewed, are there any,
I'm very comfortable with E-2.
okay, are you making a motion?
I'll make the motion that we adopt map E-2.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. And so, seeing no, Secretary Ashley, call for the vote.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that means that's will be implemented on November of 2022. That would be the map
that-
for that.
That is
election.
my understanding as of right now.
If I could, I just want to thank you, Mr. Lucian, for all your hard work on this. And I know the other day when I looked at the maps, I happened to not be feeling well and had left work early, but it gave me an opportunity to look at your map, and that's when I had that question. So I do appreciate you taking my call and getting your I guess, was it the legal counsel on the phone?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, on the phone as well. Just to address that consistency of the boundary. But I do want to thank you and your entire team for your hard work on this project. I know we kind of did it in a quick but very thorough manner, and I appreciate your professionalism and the work of your team. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to echo the same comments. Thank you for coming in. I know we got the process started a little bit late, but we were able to meet it right on time. And so, and doing a great and efficient work.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I'd like to, Channing, I'd like to echo the same thing. Mr. Lucian, you guys are very thorough. You're a real class act, and I really appreciate all that you've done. And if we need somebody in the future, I'm sure we'll be calling you guys back.
God bless you, Chief. Thank you.
And Mr. President, I just want to clarify that even though the redistricting is changing, the boundaries are changing, the election dates for all of the districts remain the same, correct?
Yes. I forget the date in November of 2022. November 4th, Mr. Faruqi?
With that, in speaking with legal counsel, it was in regard that are up on the election years.
Okay.
That's what I meant. That remains unchanged.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
and then when's next year's election?
I think that's more appropriate for legal counsel.
Yeah, based on
address.
the recent, thank you, Nassim, based on the recent court decision in with the San Bernardino case, I believe it's going to be in November election.
Thank you. All right. Moving on. Thank you all. Thank you again, Mr. Lucent. All right. Okay, next item on the agenda is the annual board reorganization per Board of Directors Policies and Procedures Manual adopted October 20th, 20, Section 7.4, annual reorganization meeting.
Mr. President, I got a suggestion here.
Okay.
Why don't we just leave everything the way it is? Because obviously we only got 4 members of the board. And maybe we can revisit this once we get a full board of 5. I think that's kind of the fair thing to do. You know, I'm open to any other suggestions, but it just seems to me that right now, I don't know if we've got the votes to keep things the way they are, or if we want to change it, or whatever it is. But my suggestion would be just leave everything the way it is until we get a full board. That's my suggestion.
I mean, I would have maybe a slightly different suggestion. I mean, Mr. President, I mean, if you're comfortable continuing on, I think that the board would probably be open to that. I mean, obviously, I think we do need a vice president. And looking at next year, we're going to have 3 of the 5 board members running for re-election of some sort, including a short term. Myself and you are the only 2 who won't be running in an election. So, I mean, if it would be amenable, I'd be willing to help you out as vice president in the interim, at least until we get through this upcoming election cycle. But I mean, that's, kind of a similar, but maybe a slightly different suggestion. But I don't know. What do you think, Mr. President?
All right. In order to, we have a sufficient quorum to have the vote this evening, correct?
Yes, you do, Mr. President.
Okay.
We do.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion, Greg. Greg, I appreciate that. I think either you or I could step in if you know matter. I just personally wouldn't want to change anything until we get the full board. I'm going to make a motion that we just leave things the way they currently are at this time until we get a full board. That is my motion.
Well, I think there's okay. Okay. Boy. Okay, let me digest
Can I clarify that motion? Motion to continue this item to the next board meeting, or
Or do we, is
what
it
are you
we
asking?
continue the president and keep the
Yeah.
vice president open until there's a
I mean, I think we have to
slot.
elect officers. I mean, it's stated, right?
Yeah, can you clarify your motion, Director Taylor?
Yeah, my motion was just to leave things the way they are. And when we get a full board, then we can go ahead and pick officers, do committee assignments, whatever else it is. I don't think there's anything that compels us to vote for committee changes or vice president position right now. And Channing can ask either Greg or I to step in for him if he wants, if he's going to go on vacation or not be here. So I don't see any reason to do that, but if there seems to be a present will to move in that direction to make appointments right now, I'm willing to do that too. But the motion I put forward would be to just leave things the way they are, wait till we get a full board, and then move forward.
I mean, I'm willing to go along either way, but what's your feelings, Channing?
well, well,
I
I
mean, we
think
kind of
I-
do need to.
there
On
wa-
one
wa-
hand, we need to, and on the other hand, we could delay. But what do you
I
want
think
to do?
Maybe if you want to continue this to your next board meeting, and that way you can, figure out how you want to.
We can revisit this. You want? I'll make the motion to move this to the next board meeting so we have time to sit down and think about it.
Well,
How about that?
well, hold on one second. I think it's some to let me get a moment to just ponder my thoughts really quickly. For a moment.
Okay. Go ahead, take a moment.
Yeah.
Presidential prerogative,
Yeah,
right?
let me get a moment. Yeah, let me get a moment to think about what. Okay. Well, I think there's a third option. We can
Okay.
bifurcate the presidency and the vice president. Take it one step at a time. If that makes sense, because we can resolve one, and then if it's necessary to table the other, we can have that conversation. Can we do that?
See, when you say bifurcate, you mean
Separate the votes.
separate it out and just move? Well, yeah, I mean, of course we could do that. That would be exactly what I was suggesting,
Okay.
which is just, leave things the way they are, vote on it, leave it the way it is. And, I mean, I'm perfectly willing to keep you for another year if you want to do it, to stay as the president of the board. I'm very comfortable with the way things are handled now. I don't know how Greg feels. Or
wants to
Dr.
do it.
Clifford Young. I
It's
don't
up
know
to
how
you.
he feels.
And so that is, you could do that. You could vote on the presidency
All right,
today.
let me,
And then you
okay.
could make a motion to continue the appointment of the vice president to your next meeting. That would
All
be
right.
appropriate.
Okay.
Okay, let me do that. Then. Okay. I'm going to make the motion that we reelect for another year Channing as the president of the board, and we leave things as they are right now in terms of the other vacancy that's happened since Kyle left, and also give him the authority to pick either one of us to step in his place if he goes on vacation or whatever. That's my motion. Is that clear?
It is clear, but I'm in terms of authority and so forth. Can you leave that part out of it for now? Just because I'm not clear that's exactly how it would be done.
Okay, let me redo the motion now. Okay, I'm going to make the motion that Channing will stay the president, to be reelected, be reappointed by us as the president for another full year, and that the other positions right now will stay. The vice president position will stay vacant until we can bring that back to the next meeting. How's that?
Okay, thank you for clarifying that motion.
I just have a question, Robert. On page 25 of the agenda is the language 7.4. Can we bifurcate it when it says that we, at the meeting, the board will elect a president and vice president? I mean, probably didn't think about this kind of a scenario when that was written, but here we are. I just want to make sure we're not, I mean.
Well, it's will is not shall. Shall is, I don't know. Shall means you don't have a
Choice.
difference. Yeah. Will isn't shall. Shall, that's what I remember.
My reading of that always has been that we have to agendize it for this meeting.
Okay.
And that,
So we could continue part of it.
Yes, that is my reading of 7.4,
Okay,
but thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I just
because
wanted to make sure.
It's important that we follow, our own rules.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I would be willing to second it. I just have really one question, and that is, do you want to continue? I mean, I don't think you said yes. Are you willing?
Well, I'm willing to continue for one more year.
Okay.
I do have.
I don't want to spring it on you.
I do have some thoughts about the continuation of the president and how we organize the agency moving forward. I think I'm willing to do it for this next year. I think Ricky, we still have to get our 5-year plan and we have to get our 5-year plan together. I think that's critical and get to another stage of Romer. However, I think in this time, over the course of the next year, we as an agency, we as the board members particularly, need to look at our governance structure amongst us, whether that's, I don't want to talk about it all now, but whether there are,
I just want a simple,
yes.
Because you never actually said.
Yes. I'll take it for now.
Okay,
I will
right.
take it
Then
for this
I'll
next
second
year.
Mike's
yes,
motion.
I will take it for this next year, but I do want to let everybody know I have some thoughts about
I
what
just
we
didn't
need
know
to
if you
do.
were like hoping to not do it. Or,
I'll deal
have-
with it for
Okay, all
this
right,
next
that's fine.
year, but after that, we can. I
Okay.
just think when we
That's
get
fine.
to this point
Next
after
year.
this year
Yeah.
or during this year or sometime before the close of the year, we just need to think about how this how our board is governed, whether that's adding.
I don't think we anticipate being in a scenario like this right now.
No, I'm just So okay, yes, but yes.
So
the
there's a
answer's
motion
yes.
and a second, Mr. President.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion except for my own, call for the vote, Secretary Ashe.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
Yes.
Was
Okay.
that clear as mud, Peggy?
It's clear as mud.
Yes.
Just
Okay.
checking.
I've got it.
Excuse me.
All right, Mr.
Now-
President,
mhm.
item number 6.
Okay. Well, I have one question regarding the committees. We're fine with all of our committees as is, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, what I would say
I-
is we might need to
I-
appoint alternates, possibly.
Yeah, I was going to jump in on that. I was going to say that, Mr. President, the ones where I'm willing, because I'm retired, and it's a lot easier for me, to take the committees that Kyle had that I was not on. In other words, whatever committees that I'm on and Kyle was on, and somebody else would obviously have to replace him, and then I would replace him on his committees that somebody else was on.
Now, could staff, because I noticed the filled out one was actually an older one, but
Yes.
is there a way we can put up the current?
We do
list?
need another ordinance because your fees have changed. That needs to be updated and a few
But-
things updated in
Yeah,
it.
but as
said
far as this
the
discussion,
names.
is there a way somebody can put up on the screen what the current listing of the committee assignments are? Okay, yeah, because we just had the blank and then the outdated one in the packet.
Okay, so the executive committee was President Hawkins and VP Kyle. Engineering, planning,
That was Kyle and I.
yourself and Kyle. External affairs, Dr. Young and President Hawkins. Finance committee was Dr. Young and Dr. Taylor. Human resource committee was President Hawkins and Dr. Michael Taylor. Safety and technology was Dr. Taylor and Kyle. And policy review and oversight was Dr. Taylor and Greg Young.
Okay, so maybe to Dr. Taylor's suggestion, he would fill in on the engineering and planning, and maybe it could pick up I guess it'd just be was the only other one. What is that kind of to what you were thinking, Mike? We kind of just fill the void for right now?
Well, I was thinking, like, if you want to sit in on the safety and technology one that Kyle had, if you're interested in it, that I'd also like to sit in. I personally would like to sit in on the executive committee temporarily until we get that filled with the VP again. And I could take another committee or so after that.
Yeah, because we
whatever's
would need
open.
somebody to step in on engineering with me.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, well, I mean, I would be willing to join you on safety and technology till we can get someone appointed, if that's okay.
Okay.
With everyone.
Yeah,
And
it's a fun committee.
Robert, that's okay. Well, the way that we are doing the temporary assignments of committees.
Yes, I mean, what it looks like is that we're just replacing Director Crowther in the committees that he's not on. So yes, that's appropriate.
That's appropriate. And then when we figure out our more permanent
Solution.
we'll figure that out. Okay. All right. So the motion is what exactly?
I guess
Do it one more time.
it'd be to adopt the Schedule C with the amended changes. Would that be sufficient, Counselor?
ENC.
Or B and C?
BNC, yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I thought I did.
Oh, sorry, I'll second Mike's.
That's okay.
Second
Well, thank
Mike's
you.
motion. And then seeing no further discussion, Secretary Ashley, call for the vote.
Director Greg Young.
Yeah.
Dr. Michael Taylor
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay. All right. Moving on to item number 7. All right. Discussion of filling the board of director vacancy. All right. And, Mr. General Manager, any information, Mr. General Counsel, before we get into discussion?
Yeah, I would leave that to General Counsel.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So there is a procedure for filling the vacancy. I sent a memo to the board earlier related to this. In a nutshell, the board has an opportunity to fill that vacancy itself. And if the board cannot fill that vacancy under the government code, it would go to the County Board of Supervisors to be filled.
Okay. Okay. So with the, have we done all the proper postings and filings and for the vacancy, or is that the next step after this meeting?
After this meeting, that's the next step.
Okay.
We have a copy of the posting and the vacancies attached to the memo here. So if the board approves this process, then
Okay.
we'll
Let
Proceed.
let me look at the questions.
And the board has up to 60 days to make an appointment. So it will be noticed. The requirement under the government code is it has to be noticed at least 15 days before that appointment is made. So after the meeting today, I believe it will be posted in 3 conspicuous places within the district. And anytime 15 days after that date, you can make an appointment, but it has to be before 60 days.
All right. So where are we in the date count currently?
So the counting started November 19th, day of notice, and the 60 days ends January 19th. That's the 60 days when the board has the opportunity to appoint.
I
Was
think
it
it would be
60
January
days?
18th
18th.
because December has 31 days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
January 18th. Yes, Mike. And then what?
It was-
What day of the week is January 18th?
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Okay.
So we would
Did you say 60 days or 90 days?
60.
60. Okay.
realistically, we're looking at the first meeting in January unless we do a special meeting.
We'll likely end up with a special meeting. This is the
Okay.
And then the county,
interesting time because it's over the holiday season. So
county board of supervisors, if it were to go to them, they have 90 days.
yeah.
And we did that once. It was not fun. So let's just
Yeah,
find
I
someone
think,
we can all
yeah,
agree on.
right, yes,
Is the way I'm
yes,
looking at it.
that would be my that would
that
be
would
my
be
choice. Yes,
That would be nice.
qualified, nice person that just wants to do a good service in the community. Okay, so let's make sure we get out all the proper announcements and communications regarding the vacancy and follow all of the requirements. So
Is there any, or is it
the
just
application.
What? We've decided to go with a resume along with a letter of interest will consist of our application, which is legally appropriate.
Okay.
And we'll receive those into the district and then present them to the board at the appropriate time.
Okay.
All right. I'll make the motion to move item 74.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All right. It's been moved and properly seconded. Secretary Ashe, seeing no discussion, call for the vote.
Yeah.
Is it just a discussion item?
This was just noticed as a discussion item, so I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
just
sure.
general direction.
Yes, I think general
Okay.
direction would be fine.
That's fine. Good.
I think
Okay.
you have it at this point.
It's
Right?
upstairs on my desk.
Okay. Good. All right. So now we can
Proceed.
proceed on to board reports, board member reports.
If it's okay, Mr. President, I just want to first congratulate you on your reappointment as president. And I did want to just kind of very briefly just kind of touch on the anniversary of today. Today, 6 years ago, was the terrorist attack here in San Bernardino with the county. Very busy day for us at the hospital and throughout the county, marking the occasion, and just wanted to thoughts and prayers to those who were touched by those events and are still struggling with the aftermath. I actually knew a few people who weren't directly there, but knew a lot of the people who were, and some of their lives were changed forever. So with that, I just, if it's all right, if we can adjourn the meeting in the honor of the victims of the December 2nd attack.
Absolutely. Okay. Any other comments, Director Young?
Nope.
All right. Director Taylor, any comments?
Just one. I'm not going to congratulate you. I'm going to pray for you.
Right. One more year,
So,
buddy.
one more. If you can make it one more year without turning gray, then you're blessed.
No, I got some gray in my
So-
chin. I didn't even have it before.
Well, it tends to happen in these
Yeah.
positions.
I
Anyways,
was about to have
I just want to
this.
say, Channing, I just want to say you're doing a fine job. I'm really happy with the way the board has progressed and things have really come together. We've been working more together as a team, and your leadership has really helped cement things and bring them forward. I knew when I first met you, I saw that talent in you, and I knew you'd be good for the position. And for once, I was right. Well, I usually am.
Well, Mike, you've
But
been right
anyways,
more than once. I can tell you that. Well, all I want to, so just real quick, I want to really say to both Director Taylor and Director Young, I thank you for entrusting me with the stewardship and leadership of this board for another year. I appreciate the time, the effort, and energy that you all have put into making our agency one to be proud of. As you know, everything over the last few years hasn't been the easiest, but I can say this, it is much different from December 5th of 2019. And the reason why is really what Mike said. We've come together as a team. We've prioritized our mission. We've brought in some really good and talented leaders. General Manager Manbahal, Assistant General Manager Mr. Van Chu, our HR Director Ms. Sands, have all been brought in as some of the executive leadership of the agency and dealing with the day-to-day. I think all of them were voted with overwhelming majorities of the board and have proven us collectively, and after having so many conversations and discussions, definitely a lot, that when we collectively make a decision and an informed decision that we can do the right thing. One of the things just this week popped my head in at Aqua, and what people are saying regarding our agency, that we're leading in projects like IE Works, which is addressing the workforce issue and actually providing jobs and a model for other agencies to follow. We are in good standing regarding our financing from the Romer project. We just had a visit from the majority leader, Assemblywoman Eloise Reyes Gomez, who came and visited us at the Romer project and did say that she will support us in our initiatives. We also had, speaking of doing good work, we had Congresswoman Norma Torres come and visit our district and support us. And so things are definitely looking up for our agency. As a matter of fact, next week, 2 weeks, on December 16th, because of our agency's leadership in the region, we will have the California Secretary of Labor, Secretary Pelagui. No, everybody's looking like you're on your own, buddy. We'll be here to visit our agency, and all the board members and other agency and stakeholders will be here because of the work we're doing regarding our regional workforce development program. So that says a lot about what we're doing collectively as a team. I know that our finance team, under the leadership of Jose and some other folks, has done a yeoman's work with ensuring our finances are in order and in compliance with the feds, with the state, with all the national organizations. I know since the time of December 19th, 2019, John and his team has received acknowledgement and awards for their implementation of our technology system. I don't forget that. I remember that. That was one of the first really good things to happen. As well as I want to acknowledge Linda and Joanne Chan for the work that they're doing in ensuring that our engineering, our pipes stay wet, and their consistent and unflappable leadership in the face of many different challenges to stay focused on the work and the mission ahead and doing the right thing. And it cannot be acknowledged or appreciated enough. And I even want to thank Mr. Faruqi for the job he's doing and making sure we're getting out and we're communicating to individuals in the community. Peggy, thank you for putting up with all of us. I don't know how you do it. this thank you. And Mr. General Counsel, thank you for doing your job as the General Counsel. So with that being the case, I do accept being president for one more year, but it's not about whatever I've done, it's about what we are doing together. And I think it's being recognized, and people in the community are definitely starting to see that. So thank you for that. That's all I want to say outside of recognizing December 2nd and what has happened, and that we're going to do, as my colleague said, which is closed up meeting out with a moment of silence in their honor. With that being said,
Mr. President, if I may, for just a moment, can we go back to item number 7? Mr. Faruqi has brought it to my attention that our draft notice that's going to go out tomorrow, that date is November 19th.
Okay.
January 19th is the last day to submit applications, but that is also the last day that the board has to choose. So I think we want that date to be ahead of January 19th. So does the board have any direction regarding when we should cut off the application time, understanding that January 19th is the last day to select?
I mean, looking at the calendar, if you did like, say, January 7th, that would give us the following week to deliberate and to have a meeting of some sort.
Okay.
And,
I think that's a good idea, Greg.
you know,
Okay.
so that gives, what, about 5 weeks for someone to
that's-
apply,
That's plenty of time.
Okay.
even with the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so January 7th, and for the public's knowledge as well, January 7th will be the last day to submit any type of letter of interest along with your resume to be considered to fill the vacancy for District 1 West Valley Water District Director.
Okay. Now, with that verifies their address, and that allows for all that. Obviously, that,
Yes.
I mean, a standard resume has that stuff. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, moving on, Mr. General Manager. Wait, did we need to give you? Did we need to take a vote? No, we just
No, we
gave
just direction on that.
Just gave us
It
no.
was for discussion.
Yes, Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, sir. Congrats again on your reappointment. I wanted to just report out. I attended the Aqua 2021 conference this week. Well attended. Networked with a whole bunch of my colleagues and getting to know people a little better. But one of the things that that I heard constantly at the conference is West Valley. You know, what are you guys doing? Things are changing, and I thought that was a positive feedback. In addition to that, there was a lot of conversation on our current drought condition and what we can do as agencies to try and mitigate that. So that's about it. Have a great weekend, everyone. And we also have a few pictures to share from our recent elected visit on Monday. Alois Reyes stopped by, and here's pictures with her.
Some fellows.
Yeah, with some handsome fellas.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Sergio, the team.
And she is one of our supporters for the Romer. And at the conference, I actually spoke with the infrastructure bank representatives there to enhance our
We want
request.
100%.
The 100%. There you go. And yeah, so we're waiting for some determination there. But thank you again. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. General Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to echo the sentiment of your other colleagues and our general manager. Congratulations on your recent appointment as president for another year. The board did consider multiple items in closed session. They took no final action on any closed session agenda items, so there's no reportable action, and that concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Everyone, let's motion to adjourn in the honor of the 16 individuals, yes, who lost their lives on December 2nd, 2015. All right. Just have a brief moment of silence. This meeting is adjourned. All right. Thank you all. Okay.